Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're doing a little e.l.f. cosmetics haul. e.l.f. has a few new releases that really grabbed my attention. I'm going to show you everything I ordered. We're going to do a lot of close-ups, a lot of swatches. You'll get to see a bunch of these products in action. Just a good old-fashioned haul. First thing I want to talk about is this sunscreen. This is the Sun Touchable Whoa Glow Broad Spectrum SPF 30 Sunscreen plus makeup primer in the shade Sunbeam. I am wearing this today, and you will see this featured in an upcoming video where I show you a glowy summer base look that's really focused on sun protection and longevity in the hot weather that I live in right now. I'll show you a little bit about this here, but you'll get to see this in action in an upcoming video. By the way, that video I mentioned is already up on my channel. I posted it a few days ago, and it's called Summer Glowy Skin Routine. That way you can see this SPF in action and see how that actually looks on my face. I grabbed this Dewy Coconut Setting Mist. It is a long-lasting setting mist, and I've only used this once. I love coconut scented things. I went nuts when the Coconut Fix Plus came out all these years ago, and I love dewy mists. I have dry skin, so this is right up my alley. Like I said, I've only used it once, but I will say it has a very nice spraying mechanism, and it smells really good. So I can't really speak to how much it extends the life of makeup or not, but it smells good, it feels good, and it has a good sprayer. So I feel like that's a win for a mist overall. Next thing I picked up is this lip lacquer in the shade Moody. I didn't really have my eye on this, but as I was clicking around the website, I noticed that this product was labeled as like a holy grail or an OG favorite or something like that. And I was interested because being such a popular product, I felt like, you know, I should probably experience this just for the sake of being a reviewer. Lip lacquers aren't usually my thing, but this isn't quite as tacky and thick and sticky as I was expecting a lip lacquer to be. This is more just like a thicker gloss. The next couple things I'm going to show you are really what made me go to the site to place an order to begin with. The very first thing were these Perfect 10 eyeshadow palettes. I picked up 4 of them. I have a wide range of thoughts about these. I'm just going to briefly show you some close-ups and swatches. I'll also show you a tutorial later on in the video using the Intergalactic palette. And if you want to see a more in-depth video with like brush swatches and comparisons, let me know if that would be interesting. I could also show you another one of these palettes in action in a second video if you want to see these more in depth, especially if there are particular palettes that you want to see these compared to. Just let me know, leave all that info in the comments, and if there is interest in that, I'll make that happen. And if not, then we can just forget that I ever mentioned it and it'll be fine. Now we're going to take a look at these 4 different eyeshadow palettes. These are priced at around $10 a piece. I ordered these from the e.l.f. Cosmetics website, and to be honest with you, I did not realize that this Mad for Matte one was going to be different. I think I just ordered these so soon after they launched that I still got the old stock packaging, and probably now, since I ordered these a few weeks ago, if you ordered this palette, you'd probably get the updated packaging. I wish mine matched just for aesthetic reasons, for photo taking reasons, but it seems like the eyeshadow's probably the same, so hopefully this is still helpful. But anyway, that was my experience with this palette packaging. When it comes to actual performance, I find all of the first 3 palettes I'm going to show you to be pretty middle of the road. Definitely not terrible. I've used way worse palettes. I've paid more to get less, if you know what I mean. And I do think that the shimmers outperform the mattes. So just by default, the all matte one, the Summer Breeze palette, is my least favorite. just doesn't really have much of a place for me in my collection to stand out. This Rose Gold Sunset one is pretty okay. I would put it in second place. So Bright Now is a really interesting color story, but it has a lot of those mattes that just aren't quite hitting the spot for me. And because these are pastels at that, they do tend to be a little bit tougher to formulate regardless of who's making them. I do think that it's pretty difficult to make super impressive pastel mattes, and they're fine. Again, not the worst pastel mattes I've ever seen, but they're just not really doing it for me. I would much rather use my Clarity Somer Amazing palette or Glam Light palette or something if I wanted pastels. The only palette that truly stands out as far as I want to reach for this again, I want to use this again, is the Intergalactic palette that you see here. Admittedly, this is more of my own personal preference color-wise, but the performance of these shadows is so notably better, and this is a more heavily shimmer palette too. Like I said, the shimmers have been better overall than the mattes in these Perfect 10 palettes, but even these mattes are really great. Overall, this is head and shoulders above the rest of the palettes that I picked up in this little e.l.f. haul today. Usually the eyeshadow palettes are the most exciting part of any haul for me because I am such an eyeshadow girl. However, this is really what I wanted to dig into in this video. These are the Squeeze Me Lip Balms, and I think we can all pretty much admit that these are meant to be dupes for stand-ins, similarly fashioned to resemble the Laneige Lip Glowy Balms. If you know me, if you've been around this channel for a while, especially if you're a longtime viewer, you will know I am a lip glowy balm stan. I have purchased dozens and dozens of lip glowy balms. I put it in my Sephora recommendations every year. I put them in my Sephora sale hauls every year because I constantly use them. I went around my house to collect up my different lip glowy balms because I wanted to do an in-depth comparison. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I found without even digging through any of the stuff in my studio. That's just what was laying around, like easily accessible. 2 of them were in 2 different purses. 1 was sitting by my desk. 1 was sitting by my bedside. I love the lip glowy balm. It's like my #1 must-have lip product. So when I saw these, I got very excited because these are only $4 and the lip glowy balm is $18. So we're going to compare these. I'm going to give way too much of an in-depth analysis about the similarities and differences, but that's really what this whole haul revolved around, was these Squeeze Me lip balms. Let's go down the comparison rabbit hole here. You're going to see the outer packaging compared. You're going to see the carton, the box, the applicator, the formula, but I also want to compare the price, even though it's pretty obvious that Laneige is a prestige skincare brand. It is going to be a lot more expensive than the e.l.f. alternative. You are getting a little bit more product in the Laneige Lip Glowy Balm. You get 10 grams, it's $18, so you're paying $1.80 per gram. Whereas the e.l.f. product has 6 grams, it's only $4, so it's about 67 cents per gram. So per gram price is less than half of what the Laneige per gram price is. Obviously, as mentioned before, part of it is just the brand name, right? The prestige of a name. But I do think there are some other factors at play here. And not all of these factors might be relevant to you and your preferences. So it's just something to keep in mind. We're doing a very in-depth review here. And if you don't care about things like upgraded, more luxurious packaging, then you know, it's still a reason why it's more expensive. It just might not be enough of a reason for you to spring for the extra few bucks. When we look at the formula, it is very obvious that these are not dupes formula-wise. They're not terribly far off, but you can tell the consistency is really different here. The Laneige Lip Glowy Balm is this really, really creamy, it's like a gel feeling. It reminds me of a serum, just how soft and gooey it is. The e.l.f. lip balm is a little bit thicker, a little bit more stiff. Now, personally, I prefer the Laneige consistency, but again, maybe your preference is for something a little bit thicker and not quite so dewy, glowy, but a more standard lip balm type of product. Both feel great on the lips. I mean, it's lip balm. You're not really going to go wrong. They both have a nourishing, hydrating skincare feeling. And overall, they both only give the tiniest bit of color to the lips. They really look clear once they're applied. And that's across the board for both the e.l.f. and Laneige balms. Overall, not a dupe in my personal opinion. Now that you've seen all of these products close up and some swatches and an insane in-depth comparison with the Squeeze Me Balm, I want to show you a couple of these products in action on my face, and I'll kind of wrap up all my thoughts about these things along the way during that tutorial. I have to say I'm surprised by how much I like this lip lacquer product. The color is really pretty and it's definitely nowhere near as thick and sticky as I was expecting. This feels just like a super pigmented gloss and I really enjoy it. I definitely would purchase more shades of this lip lacquer. I can't say that I would repurchase the other lip products, the Squeeze Me Balms. They're definitely not bad at all, and I will use these up and I won't have any problem with it. But if I'm gonna go for a lip balm product like this, I'm just gonna stick with my beloved Lip Glowy Balm. I like to invest in a lip product that I love. It's my favorite. It would take so much to make me stray away from this formula. And, you know, it's a personal choice. Maybe it seems extra to spend that much on a lip balm, and that is totally fine. But I love it. I'm going to keep buying it because I am a Lip Glowy Balm stan. I would definitely repurchase the sunscreen as well. I got a couple of those little minis and I would for sure buy a full size. I like it almost as much as I like my Inky List sunscreen. Not quite as much, not dethroning that favorite either, but I do think that it's a nice makeup primer and I use sunscreen every single day. So in my opinion, never too much sunscreen in my life. As far as the other products go, I'm still sort of jury's out on the setting mist. It smells good. I like that the sprayer doesn't just like spray awful giant droplets unpredictably, but I'll have to really use it to decide if I love it, if it's a need, a must repurchase. As far as the palettes go, I feel very, very lukewarm, mediocre, probably wouldn't recommend towards all of them except this one that I'm wearing in the tutorial, the intergalactic one. I would give them a chance. I will still use them. I'm not going to, write angry messages to e.l.f. and throw them in the trash and burn them. It's not that serious. They're fine. They're just not amazing, not super memorable. They're not drawing me in. They're definitely not making me stray away from my ColourPop palettes, for example. But this intergalactic one is the exception. I really love these super foily blue and purple shimmers. Everything worked well together, and I wore this eye look all day long. I wore this to film another video, and I also wore it for the rest of the day all the way into the evening, and it still looked great. I was so surprised by the intensity, by the wear time. Overall performance was way beyond my expectation. Who knows, maybe the others will be the same. I do have some hope for the rose gold sunset version, but overall this is my favorite. This is the one I recommend. This is the one I'm gonna go back to. And, maybe part of that's just personal preference, but this palette is really amazing. I feel like this was a very successful haul. I'm happy with pretty much everything. Some of the palettes I liked more than others, but I do see myself getting a lot of use and a lot of like staple item use out of many of the products I picked up. I know those sunscreens will be used up in a hot minute. I'll definitely be able to use up the setting spray. Of course, lip balms. I never have a problem using up a lip balm. So I got a good mix of staple items and some fun things. Let me know if you want to see a more in-depth look at the Perfect 10 palettes, and definitely leave a little comment about what comparisons would be helpful for you. Which palette do you want to see a tutorial with next? Or should I do a little palette bingo situation? What do you think would be fun? What do you think would be helpful? I always love to hear what you think about things too. So please leave all your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! That was weird. Okay. No. You already know that. I don't have to say it again. You already knew that. I don't really want to say that though. Either way is fine. And I feel like that's perfectly sane, okay? Don't say anything about it! Oh, sorry for yelling. I was just kidding. Oop! Forgot that part. Forgot it. Editing Amanda. Go back, make it make sense. Whole Woo, I did it. I was getting close to the wire because I literally have to go leave now and go pick my kid up. And he's gonna love this eyeshadow. He loves when I have really sparkly, especially like fun colors. And I told him I'd take him to Subway today. So I'm excited. Go get my kid and go get a sandwich. Thanks for hanging out with me. I love your face so much. I always appreciate it when you're here. You know why? Because you're cool, cute, awesome, amazing. Bye!